Imagine this: a person eats a full meal and glucose enters the blood, but the cells cannot produce enough energy. How is this possible? Because one tiny mineral is missing. Not a calcium, not iron, but it's the phosphorus. Without phosphorus, no ATP, no DNA, no RNA, and no cell membrane. Even many enzymes stopped working, and today you will understand phosphorus so deeply that you will never memorize it again. Let's begin. Before we start, let me tell you why professors love asking phosphorus. Questions commonly asked are distribution of phosphorus, functions of phosphorus, and serum phosphate levels, regulation and hyperphosphatemia and hypophosphatemia, role of the vitamin D and PTH. And clinically, whenever you study bone diseases, kidney diseases, rickets, hyperparathyroidism, or the ATP metabolism, phosphorus appears everywhere. So today we will connect every concept together. Let's first understand what the phosphorus actually is. The students often think phosphorus is just another mineral for bones. That is only partial true. If an adult human body, in an adult human body, there is approximately 1 kg phosphorus is there. Now here's the interesting question: that why do we need so much phosphorus? Because phosphorus is present in almost every cell in the body. Not just a bone, not just a blood, every single cell. Think about it. Every cell needs ATP, every cell contains DNA, every cell has phospholipid membrane, and every cell performs phosphorylation reaction. So naturally, every cell needs the phosphorus. Let's divide the total phosphorus into three compartments. 80% located in the bones and teeth. Here phosphorus combines with calcium to form hydroxyapatite crystals. These crystals provide hardness. Without phosphorus, bones become soft and teeth become weak. 10% found inside the muscles and blood. Here phosphorus participates in metabolism. It combines with carbohydrates, proteins and lipids. And 10% remaining exist in chemical compounds like ATP, DNA, RNA, phospholipids, coenzyme, others like that. We will see the quick recap for this. Can you answer this? The where is the most phosphorus stored? Exactly the 80% in bone and teeth. Never forget this. Now comes a common university question: how much phosphorus should we consume? Instead of remembering only numbers, understand the concept. Our body wants the calcium and phosphorus balance. Imagine a brick constructing a brick wall. Bricks alone cannot build it. Cement alone cannot build it. Before the both we needed together. Similarly, the calcium and phosphorus both works as a partners. Ideal dietary ratio is approximately 1:1, and recommended intake for adults is around 800 mg per day. For infants, rapid bone growth is occurring, therefore calcium requirement becomes relatively higher. Ratio becomes approximately 2:1. This is an easy exam point question. And now ask yourself, where do we get phosphorus? Almost all protein rich foods like milk, eggs, meat, and leafy vegetables, and almost all protein rich foods are there like leafy vegetables, meat, cereals. That's why true phosphorus deficiency due to poor diet alone is actually uncommon. Now the important question: eating phosphorus doesn't mean your body absorb all of it. Where does absorption occur? Mainly in the jejunum. Point here: this is the main site for the phosphate absorption, jejunum. Now here's the something student confuse. Whoever who increases the phosphorus absorption? Vitamin D, more specifically calcitriol. Calcitriol increases absorption of calcium, but it also increases the absorption of phosphate. Remember, vitamin D likes both calcium and phosphorus. Here we see the calcium phosphorus ratio. Absorption becomes best when calcium and phosphorus are balanced. If one becomes excessively high, and absorption becomes less efficient. Another interesting fact: acidic environment improves the phosphate absorption. Why? Because phosphate becomes more soluble because of the uh, means easier absorption. Simple. Now imagine eating lots of cereals containing phytates. Phytates bind phosphorus, and now phosphorus cannot absorb efficiently. So phytates reduces the phosphate absorption. Let's move to the blood levels. That the normal serum phosphate is approximately 3 to 4 milligram per dl. Another exam point, that the whole blood phosphate is much higher, around 40 milligram per dl. Why? Because RBCs and WBCs contains large amount of phosphorus. Cells contains ATP, cell contain nucleic acid, and hence intracellular phosphate is much higher. Another interesting observation, that fasting serum phosphate is higher than post meal phosphate. But why? After eating carbohydrates, cells suddenly need phosphate for glucose metabolism. So, phosphate rapidly moves from blood into the cells. Blood level falls slightly, and concept remembered forever. How is the phosphorus removed? Mainly through kidneys, and about 500 milligram per day is excreted in urine. Kidneys constantly filter phosphate, then renal tubules reabsorb most of it. Now ask yourself, who controls this reabsorption? Parathyroid hormone. PTH inhibits the phosphate reabsorption, meaning that more phosphate lost in urine. Very important exam concept that students often remember. PTH increases the calcium, but forget that the PTH decreases the phosphate, because PTH throws phosphate out through urine. Now comes the heart of the today's lecture. Why is the phosphorus is so important? Let's understand one function at a time. Here is the one function, that development of bones and teeth. Calcium alone cannot harden bone. Phosphorus combines with calcium. Together they form hydroxyapatite crystals, and these crystals make bone rigid. Energy production. This is my favorite. And imagine ATP without phosphate. Can ATP exist? No. ATP means the adenosine triphosphate. Three phosphates, whenever phosphate bonds break, energy is released. Same for GTP, creatine phosphate. These are the high energy phosphate compounds. Without phosphorus, cells cannot store or transfer the energy efficiently. Third function, the formation of phospholipids. Every cell membrane contains phospholipids. No phosphorus, no proper membrane, simply. Fourth function is DNA and RNA. DNA stores genetic information, RNA helps protein synthesis. Both requires phosphate backbone, so phosphorus literally holds genetic material together. Fifth function is a part of the important coenzymes, that examples include NAD, NADP plus, ADP, AMP, and these molecules participate in metabolism every second. Next function is activation of enzymes. Many enzymes become active only after phosphorylation. Think of the phosphorylation as a switching on machine. Without phosphate, the switch remains off. Next function, buffer system. Body pH must remain stable. Phosphate act as an intracellular buffer. It also contributes to blood buffering, thus it prevents the dangerous changes in acidity. Remember, for B2, E2, GMC, Government Medical College, B2, E2, GMC. For B for bones and buffer, E2 for energy and enzymes, and GMC for genes, coenzymes, and enzymes, and C for coenzymes. Imagine a student studying in GMC. This is the interesting mnemonic for this. Let's discuss about the disease states. Hypoparathyroidism. PTH decreases and kidney now stops excreting phosphate, results the serum phosphate rises and hyperphosphatemia occurs. Hyperparathyroidism, too much PTH, and then what occurs? More phosphate lost in urine, and blood phosphate level falls, and hypophosphatemia occurs. Very favorite exam question. Chronic kidney diseases, so phosphate accumulates and blood phosphate increases. This is also contributes the metabolic acidosis and mineral bone disorders. In the vitamins D deficiency, poor intestinal absorption, less phosphate absorbed, results the low phosphate. This contributes to rickets, and children develop soft bones. In renal rickets, kidney disease prevents normal phosphate handling, and serum phosphate decreases, alkaline phosphatase increases. Remember this combination. And in diabetes mellitus, interesting biochemical point that the organic phosphate decreases, inorganic phosphate increases. Here is the one clinical pearl that whenever you see high calcium, low phosphate, think of the excess PTH. Whenever you see low calcium, high phosphate, think of hypoparathyroidism. That is a single concept solved the many MCQs. Today you learned the phosphorus. It's just not a mineral for bones. It's a backbone for energy transfer and genetic material, cell membranes, enzyme regulation, and acid-base balance. Once you understand these connections, remember the facts becomes more easier. Thanks for watching.